I fell and I got hurt. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I'll be okay. Don't. It sucked. Like, falling was all I did in school. Failing was all I did in school. That doesn't even make sense. Who wrote this? I know you're wondering, how did it happen? You know when you're out using your walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk? And you walk off a step that you didn't realize was there? Hopefully no one saw that. I didn't do that. Instead, I walked onto the step that I didn't realize was there. Heel landed on the top part, and then my toes went wee all the way home. I fell to my knees, smacked the ground so hard I ended up spraining my wrist, twisted my ankle and my knee. I was like trying to do a somersault, but instead of somersaulting, you just fell to the ground. But my question is, like, how could this have possibly happened? I know I'm making light of this, but I'm being very serious when I say this. I pay very close attention to where I step. I consider steps my greatest enemy. When I get into the flow, sometimes it feels like I don't want to walk so much as fly. Bouncing and twisting and dancing around, my body is already shifting around to move on to the next task before I finish what I'm doing. I'm walking with purpose, with style and flow. And to prove it, listen to these testimonials. He moves with such grace, one friend said. It's like the wind learned the best moves from him. Holy shit, dude, where did you come from? I can move very quietly sometimes. Knowing all of this, I pay very close attention to steps, knowing that they could be my downfall, my Achilles heel, if you will. I consider steps kind of like cats. We coexist just fine. However, the moment that we let our guard down, you know that the cats are going to murder us all the first chance that they get. So I keep a very close eye on them. Oh. In real life, it doesn't matter how many skill points that you put into agility. Sometimes your attributes just glitch out and you never figure out how to do a backflip. You realize a little too late that you should have put some of those points into charisma. Speaking of which, thank you for watching the video. If you weren't such a loser puppet, maybe you should like and subscribe, you dumbass. So yeah, like, I fell, I got hurt, that sucks, or whatever. But that's not even what I actually want to talk about. It's more of the timing of it. The timing is what I'm questioning. Am I talking conspiracy? I didn't say that, you did. Have you ever noticed a coincidence that felt a little too coincidental? I'll give you an example. Like, you're out driving, you're doing errands, you're doing some tasks, then something out of the ordinary happens. It could be something like you forgot your wallet or your keys somewhere, and you're like, wait a second, that never happens. You end up passing an accident that seems like it occurred the amount of time you were delayed ago. On the other side, it's like you've been dealing with something challenging, and then finally something comes along that's just like, maybe not even gonna lift you out of the challenging situation. It's just kind of a much needed breath. You think, yes, the universe is finally handing you a W. And suddenly new challenges start popping up, making it so much harder. It feels like it's trying to take that W away from you, just torturing you, teasing you. And I'm saying universe and not God because if there was a God, then Cop Rock would not have been canceled after one season. Before creating the highly acclaimed NYPD Blue, producer Steven Bochco filled a void missing in primetime television. Cop Rock, a gritty police procedural crossed with the Broadway musical, would debut and end its run at the end of 1990. Wait, what was I talking about? Why am I talking about Cop Rock? But to really actually get into the full story as to why this was such a weird time for me to have such an accident, I kind of need to peel the layers back like an onion.
Human trash and a broken down routine.
To fully understand how we got here, we need to go back to the caveman days. Not really, but look, like, This is something that I keep cutting out of videos for one reason or another. I keep wanting to talk about it, and then I'm just like, I don't want to talk about it. But it's going to be important to understand why this is going to be an important part of why this is a bigger deal. I was laid off in mid-2021. Barring that initial shock, freelance had kind of picked up to a degree that I had never experienced before. For the rest of the year, I had multiple clients with multiple projects keeping me busy every week. I'd send out resumes here and there to kind of get a feel for what was going on. There was no rush, but just in case I needed to make a run into employment again, I just kind of wanted to see what was out there. And then 2022 came, and freelance died. It completely fell off a cliff. One of my longtime clients I worked with for years sent me a message like they normally do. Hey, I have a new project. We're getting some details together. We're gonna get a hold of you next week to set up a meeting. That was the last message that they ever sent me. Something lately felt very different. So over the next several months, I would send hundreds of resumes to get absolutely no response. I would be trying everything that I can think of to either get new clients or just to get somebody to actually respond to me. Whatever was happening now was weird. But when I started to hear and read the stories of others that were experiencing the exact same things that I was going through, and even in the same industry, let alone across all kinds of industries, I didn't know what to do anymore. It's kind of where we're at now, where I'm taking far greater swings in directions that are far riskier. But in order to continue, I did what I think a lot of people are doing. My primary source of income at the moment is as a delivery driver. I rely on the apps to pay rent, and it sucks. It's not even just because I don't make near as much as I used to. It's just that I make just enough that I'm treading water as my head bombs along the top. Like, it's already getting to the point where even that's gonna be questionable. I get really annoyed when anybody refers to this as my work because it's not my work. It's a lifeline to be exploited by people who want you to grab their dinner and give it to them for like $2 sometimes. And no, I don't accept any of those. Like, I don't deliver to clown. And then every once in a while, a random project does come my way, but it's not enough to be able to get my head out of the water. And the most frustrating thing about it is I thought I would have been able to fix this and change this. But now it's been years, and I don't even know if I'm capable of being able to change it. You start to doubt what it is that you're even worth, you know? And so now it's been years that depends on me not only having a car that works, that you put absurd amounts of miles on, but also being able-bodied enough to be able to do the work. And if I have a moment that happens where I hurt my ankle, I'm no longer treading water. I drown.
No pain, no gain. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice.
Friday morning, I received a schedule offer from Grubhub, and it was perfect. Like, not only did it take place during one of my normal scheduled days, but it was gonna be at the end of my day on Saturday. All I have to do is have a normal day, go and deliver the order, and then boom, shut it down and go home. How much was the offer for? I mean, not bad, it's just $300. Never have I ever had a catering order that large. And I need to be even more specific. It was $302. I have to make that distinction because my best single day ever was $301. One order was gonna do better than my best day. I don't even have a screenshot to show you because I was freaking out thinking about the fact that this can't be real, that it's going to disappear any second. So I didn't even think to get a screenshot. I just like, accept, no, yeah, make it happen. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, $300, wow, like you could probably just take the rest of the week off, have some time to rest, be able to work on those videos that you promised that you were gonna do more of. And no, you're wrong. It's not your fault. So it's summertime right now. And that means that orders are kind of slow. $300 on top of whatever I would be earning is pretty much making up for the bad weeks that I had for not quite hitting my goal. Because of the summer slowness, I've been trying to drive Amazon in the morning. And so Amazon for lunchtime, and then food delivery for dinner time. Friday comes and goes, no issue. Saturday morning, I go to my Amazon pickup. 50 deliveries, which, yeah, is actually for the block that I had, is a bit excessive, but whatever. So now we fast forward to delivery 40. I'm approaching the final turn to get into the community, and the road is closed. This whole area, like this whole street, was full of like small communities that would just branch off from the main street. And so there is no other entrance to be able to get into the community except for the portion that was road closed. Now, could I have driven around the blockade in hindsight? Possibly. But you have to understand, at that moment, it's like I'm exhausted, I'm annoyed, I'm not necessarily thinking straight, I'm just so focused on finishing the Amazon bullshit. Plus, on the other side of that road closure, there was a cop. And if a cop was waiting for some clown to skirt the barrier, I was also just not in the mood to have to charm a cop. Remember, my points are in agility, not riz. So if I got a ticket, the judge would have surely found me.
Guilty judge, he's guilty. We have seen through all his lies.
What is that? What keeps happening? Apple Maps tells me I need to go park on a side street and walk 0.3 miles to get to this house. 0.3 miles doesn't seem like a lot, but there is a detail that I haven't told you. I live in the greater Phoenix area, which it's well above 100 degrees. And that is brutal even when you have a car that has air conditioning, because I don't spend the entire time in the car. I have to get out and get in and get out and get in. Usually when I pull up to a house, I'm probably walking like 20 feet to be able to get to somebody's door, 50 feet at most. 0.3 miles is over 1,500 feet. But I'm not really left with a lot of options. And so, wanting to get it over with, I just took a deep breath and started on my journey. I made it to the house, definitely one of the 50 footers if I was able to drive to the house. I finished the delivery, and at the end of the walkway, I missed a step. I sat there, unsure of how much I hurt myself, and also getting seared by the hot pavement to just add some flavor. But like, as I sat there, I thought about the worst case scenario. If I couldn't walk, then I couldn't deliver or be able to make money. Zoom in, if I couldn't walk, I wouldn't be able to finish the week. Zoom in a little bit further, if I couldn't walk, I wouldn't be able to do the $300 order. Zoom in just a little bit further.
Quit your bitching. I heard it all before.
I wouldn't be able to walk the 1,500 feet back to my car. After a few minutes, my ankle was okay enough that I didn't actually feel that much pain in the moment. My palm and wrist actually did hurt quite a lot, but nothing overall seemed broken. Like, I was far more concerned about what was going on with my ankle, because walking is mostly a requirement. If my wrist was not going to be able to handle weight, then that's fine. I have a second hand that I'd be able to carry heavy stuff with. I was definitely limping for the rest of the day, but I did manage to do the $300 order. It wasn't until later when I got home that as soon as I took off my shoes, I could actually barely walk on my foot. And that was a moment where I was like, just trying to assess how bad this was going to be, that I managed to do the $300 order, and was it all going to eventually just completely evaporate because now I need to take the rest of the week off? I did manage to take care of Sunday. It was all food delivery, so that was going to be easy, but not sure what happens when I get certain things when it comes to a Amazon pickup. I decided to cancel that, which does mean that some of that $300 just kind of disappeared because I had to lose a little income by not doing the Amazon thing. And that sucks.
I'm on a tight deadline. Say what's on your mind for the record.
When I fell, and the very clear conspiracy that is against me to just make my life infinitely harder, I happened to be talking to a friend on the phone at the time that I fell. And I'm walking back to my car, paying all my attention to my foot. The only thing I could really manage to say to my friend in the moment is, I think God is asking for a fight. To take an already challenging situation and just make it even worse, even as somebody who knows and values the satisfaction that you could get through challenges and struggle. I'm good. We don't need to make this any harder. We don't need to make this any worse. And so when I said, I think God is asking for a fight, all I kept thinking was, that's fine. I'll challenge God to a fight and I'm going to win. Like, no, I don't know how, but I will. Like, you think tripping me is going to stop me? Like, I'm on to you. I'm super focused, man. This is the only explanation that would make sense as to why I'm just walking and would miss a step so hard that I would hurt myself. Because it wasn't me. Ow, I keep bouncing. Because clearly, that's the only explanation for somebody who is so focused on paying attention to these things. Somebody would try and trick me by throwing up a step in front of me. Like, I could get distracted. Like, that's not possible.
I'm the baby merchant. Tots are us.
You could only shake your fist so many times at the sky looking for any glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. But like, the truth is that to get out of the tunnel, you have to keep moving. Like, I'm the anime protagonist that is going to take a moment to unlock my next power level so I can destroy you. And maybe that's kind of the point. You are going to fall. We're all going to fall. And it's just kind of a reminder that there are elements that are going to be out of your control, but even the stuff that kind of is in your control, sometimes you lose sight of it. Me, for somebody who doesn't usually get distracted in this way, who is literally looking out for steps because I know that they could take me out, I was so focused on what was going on in the moment that I completely missed what was right in front of me. There have been times in my life that I felt like I've been in this tunnel that you can't see the light at the other end of the tunnel, and all you keep hoping for is just the tiniest glimmer of hope, the tiniest glimmer of light, so that way you know you're heading in the right direction, you know that you're there. Usually what happens in those moments is you never see the light at the end of the tunnel. You realize one day, oh, I've been out of the tunnel for a long time. But in order to get there, you have to get up and you have to keep moving. And while you're moving, you have to remember,
Let's be careful out there.
the 90s were a hell of a thing.